I'm excited for today's episode. We're sponsored by Caramel Craze today.
Don't tell them that.
We're not sponsored by anything. Yeah, Duncan, you will sponsor us.
I love swamp water.
Every day.
I love swamp water.
So,
it's my favorite thing to drink.
So today, we're going to talk about how to not get scammed. And it's, even just saying that out loud kind of sounds weird. You're like, shouldn't it be easy to not get scammed?
No, it's not. Clearly.
Clearly, because, man, things are rough right now. Like, the soonest the market changed, as soon as interest rates changed and things became a little more challenging for people, dude, you saw people switching industries, switching teachings, running away from responsibilities, people losing a ton of money, people taking a ton of money, stealing a ton of money. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff and how you can avoid that, because this is actually a pretty, if you got two focuses on your finance, the first is obviously to create as much as possible and pay yourself as much as possible. But number two is to protect it. So how do we protect it? Well, first you got to protect it from yourself. But secondly, you got to protect it from all the people trying to take it from you. So we can talk about that.
I am not very involved in the finance world, especially not even just involved. I am not in that. That's not my circle. I don't go on YouTube and watch finance videos or keep up with anything news finance. So I have no idea what's happening in the landscape right now.
So since I'm so much closer to it, it would be natural that, I see and hear more about it.
Yeah.
But even big ones are the coaching space stuff right now. So,
well, you are a coach, so.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you a scam?
Yeah. I've never been called a scammer. Probably because I don't have victims. That's probably a good start. That's how you don't become a scammer.
Nobody's coming forward and saying you're a scammer. Probably because you're not.
Yeah, you don't have victims. Yeah, you actually try to help. That's ideal number one. So let's talk about how to actually protect yourself and protect your money. So when you say it aloud, it's like, that kind of seems like it would be simple. But what we're going to talk about, it's actually I think it's going to take a little bit of work to get through, because it's a simple thing to think about. And if you're in person, right? It's much easier to understand how to protect yourself versus through words or through a conversation. But there are some things that you can definitely look out for and be aware of. And I think there's some different categories we should hit. First category being traditional. And what I mean by traditional is you're not necessarily looking to invest in yourself. You're not necessarily looking to control your investments. You're not going to go out and buy 4, 8, 12, 16 units of real estate and then build a management team or hire out a management team. That's not really the investment you're looking for.
Maybe you're more entry level. You're not,
you
don't know a lot about it yet.
Yeah. Or you have access to a lot of capital. You might even have a lot of money in this scenario, but you're I don't have any of it working and I don't want to deal with it. It's not something that I care about. So I'm going to give it to somebody else.
I almost feel like they're the most vulnerable in getting scammed.
Yeah.
And investments.
They're definitely a high risk.
Yeah, I feel like they're the high risk. That's what. They're the most open to.
The reason I believe they're high risk is because they are actively looking or wanting to pass their money to somebody else, which is already a really difficult thing to do.
And then they have to be able to discern if that person can.
Or even know who it is.
Yeah. To know who the person is, to know what their job is, to know what they can say, you give me this money and I'll turn it into this, but how are they doing it?
Yeah.
Is it in an ethical way, a legal way?
Yeah. Or if it's even real.
Yeah. Yeah. If that money's ever going to come back to you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about traditional. That'll be traditional. Then I want to talk about more so the alternative. And when I think alternative, I think more entrepreneurial, more self-investment focused. So, hey, how are you going to locate the right person to work with if you're trying to learn something, right? So more of the coaching sense, like you said, how are you going to learn this skill that you really want to use and apply and practice and, become wealthy from? What can you look for in those people?
Yeah.
As well as specific, maybe we get into some specifics too, because there's a lot of lending scams out there too. Hey, if I just put my money into this, right? I'm kind of lumping all that together in the alternative or non-traditional because, hey, I got this email that I can pay me 17% if I put in $200,000, red flag.
You hear stuff like that all the time.
Oh yeah, it's constant.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, see, because you're a little more involved in the real estate space.
Yeah.
So that's why you get to hear a little bit more of it.
Or my friends will come to me and be like, "Hey, this person gave me this opportunity," and
they gave you the opportunity to give them money.
Yeah. I don't know about all that.
I love it.
I'm always the first one to question it. And then the certain friend who always comes to me with that, I'm like, Why are you mad at me for asking questions about this when you're about to hand them a few grand?
Because they're mad that you didn't just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they didn't think of it.
Because I think it's too good to be true, and more than likely,
yeah,
twice now it's been too good to be true.
They're feeling vulnerable, right? And they're trying to fix this problem that they think that they have, and they're trying to outsource it, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Because in the coaching side, I know like this is the alternative side still, and we'll get here in a few minutes. But on, say, the coaching side, or if you want to learn a skill, whatever the price is, that's just the barrier of entry. That's not a guarantee that you're going to get anything out of it and or be successful from it. It's the barrier of entry to earning the time with someone to learn. So we'll go over that, though. So let's start with traditional.
Okay.
So when I say traditional, what's that make you think?
I think, well, like we said, I think people who have a 9-to-5 job or 9-to-5, a W-2, they work. They don't necessarily have self-education when it comes to like finance and stuff. They're not like reading books or like you. They're not like little finance warriors where they constantly want to know how to use their money. And they just want to make more of it. They like the idea of passive income.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And they don't know what to do with it.
If you're a finance warrior, you can put it in the comments down below.
Well, those are your friends do watch this, so all of your friends are going to call themselves finance warriors now.
But
like not finance
like
bros. Finance bros is a negative term. Finance warriors is
finance bros is like the 20-year-old influencers.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Cold showers.
Oh,
women are bad.
All the hacks.
Yes.
Women are bad.
Yes, the finance bros are the ones that have the podcast that tell you that women belong in the kitchen.
If you could put a list of these podcasts down below, I'd like to check for accuracy. But
he would love to indulge.
That's amazing. Yeah, so when I think traditional, I think somebody looking to give their money away for someone else to solve the problem because they don't want to put the time or effort into it.
Or maybe they don't even know that they can put the time or effort into learning.
Right. They haven't been taught that they actually have control over
They might
it.
know that's their own, like they might think that's their only option. Like the same reason why so many people start a 401k is because everybody does it. They think that's the only option and they just do it.
So we can even talk about the 401k. As many know, I believe the 401k is the devil reincarnated as a quote unquote retirement plan.
We have a podcast episode on that called 401k is the devil. If you want to know more where we talk about it for 45 minutes, go watch.
Yeah, I continue to hold that belief. But that being said, this will actually go into why on the alternative side, when you're looking at coaches or help or anything, if you hear anyone talking absolutes, like no matter what, and they don't have bad days, like that's a red flag. So I will be open enough to say that the 401k will be right for some people in some cases due to them not wanting to put any time, effort, and or control into anything in their finances, and they are willing to roll the dice on that, whether they're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
So, yes, do I believe in do I believe in the 401k? No, not in the least. But I think it's the worst investment.
What would you do if I came to you tomorrow and said that I was offered this 401k opportunity and I'm going to take it?
I would go, why?
And you would probably.
I would ask for your context. Please give me your context of why you believe that.
No, you would put your hand down and be like, "Give me your mic. You're done."
Yeah, and that'll do. It was a good run. Yeah, no, I continue to believe that the 401k is one of the worst investments that you can make, but it's in my beliefs because I understand my control levels and I understand what I can do with money, and I understand and have belief in others and what they can learn and do. That's why I'm in this field in general, right? So if you are looking in a traditional sense, like, okay, how do you protect yourself from so-called scams or losing a lot of money? A big piece of it's obviously understanding control, educating yourself, but that's already the reason why you're going more in the traditional sense is because you're not really looking to do that. So what you have to do is you have to understand who is actually controlling it. You have to at least take that time. So if you're going to look for red flags in traditional investments, what's their track record? Can they tell you who controls it? Can they tell you what the average return is? Can they tell you what they did during downtimes? Can they tell you what things looked like when things were volatile and or consolidating? In my opinion, the most difficult time to invest is actually when things are consolidating. And consolidating is where things are just going up and down a little bit and they just kind of flat line across the board, because if you're trying to chase something, you're constantly on the wrong side of it. So that's really the first one to me is, okay, how do I avoid how to avoid being scammed in a traditional way. You need to make sure the credibility of the controller. You need to make sure that this isn't somebody, you're not giving your money to somebody who isn't living the life that you want to live and doesn't have a track record of proof that they can do with your money what they've already done with theirs.
That's a really good point. What does the lifestyle of the person look like who you're investing with?
Right. Like, what does it look like? Why?
Yeah.
If we show up to the same place, why? And I heard this great line the other day. Hey, like, why do you got a Land Rover, but you still got a landlord?
That's, yeah.
It was such a good line. It was from Tim Ross's The Basement
That's funny,
podcast.
yeah.
It was incredible. It was a great line. And it made me think about, the people who are giving their money to other people. So you're thinking about, your 401ks, your IRAs, your traditional like retirement plans through jobs and things like that. What lives are those people living? Like if that HR department, right, who is really controlling that and putting it into, the investment company for you, or like the ones quote unquote, educating you on it and telling you about your plans. Pick one of these 3 circles and please circle it and know that you can never change it.
Yeah.
Right. Like what does their life look like?
That's a really good point.
Like if they're rolling up in the rusted out Corolla, right? Or they're unhappy in their day to day, you don't want to be involved in that. These are the things you need to be looking for. And you're going to see a reoccurring theme here of looking at the person, not the investment type, not the
necessarily even the money, the amount of money.
Exactly. It's not you're not looking at necessarily just returns. You're not looking at just how much is going in. You're looking at the actual person and the people involved.
And that's universal to both sides. There's traditional and alternative.
So without mentioning a bunch of names, like on the alternative side of like, coaching and people getting caught in these scams and people getting caught in Ponzi schemes that are super popular right now and people exchanging funds with one deal for another, just trying to make things survive. And then when things got more difficult and they couldn't go get bank money, that's when everything collapsed. Every single one of those people, if you dig a little bit deeper or spend a little bit more time with them, the ones that I have personally either interacted with before or know of, right? Their character is immediately shown. Like that this is something where you go, oh man, I can't believe that one. You end up going, oh, it's about time. Why is that?
Yeah.
There's a character flag or a character flaw somewhere that you were picking up on. So you need to be looking at the person or the people. And that's one of the reasons I said in the beginning, hey, this is a little easier when you're interacting with the person. So just be aware of it and trust your gut and listen to yourself. That's probably why your friend got upset with you. Like, oh, damn it, I saw it, but I didn't. He didn't listen to himself.
He didn't want somebody else to point out what he saw because then it would become real.
Yes. Yeah, because he wanted it to be true. He wanted it to be real. And that's how these guys end up taking someone's last $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000, whatever it is. And then so on. Yeah. And then run away with it. And then end up running away with it and not being able to perform. So if we're looking at the other side of things, okay, how do I protect my money? How do I avoid scams in like day-to-day life? But I'm looking to get money out there and I'm looking to learn something. Yeah, again, you're looking at the character of the person. You're looking at the people. But you're also looking at how do if I interact with them, what does their time look like with me? Like, are they putting time into me? Are they sharing their time with me? Or is it always a business offset? You can talk to this salesman, because what I see a lot, especially in being in this industry for the past decade of education, sales, operations, everything, is guys are really, really good at selling stuff. Like they're great marketers. They pull up in the Lamborghini. They got the nose down. They got the sunglasses. And they start getting aggressive with you and they start shaming you, right? And you're like, never mind, I want that. I don't want that guy to be able to shame me. I want that. Like, red flag. They're really good at selling stuff, but they're not very good at operating things. So that's why as they get tighter, what you will see over time is their marketing get more and more aggressive and be built more in shame and pointing the finger at you, going, why haven't you done this yet? What do I have to do to prove to you? I got the Lambo, I got the Range Rover, I got the Merc, I got the house, I got the jet behind me, I got the rented thing over there and the lease thing over there, my buddy's thing over there. Why aren't you doing this? And then you go, you know what? I do need to take out my last $5,000 to figure this out. That's a red flag. Yeah. That's a bad one.
The thing is that there's so many different ways that like what they're doing could be a red flag. Like you're like, oh, if they pull up in a rusted out Corolla, potential red flag. They pull up in a Lamborghini, potential red flag. They pull up and they seem like a great person. But that could also be a red flag. Like maybe they're a good person, but they have no idea what they're talking about because they're not practicing what they're preaching.
Yeah. And that's when the time factor comes in, like not rushing into a decision.
Yeah. Because a person could be great, but we were talking about this with D earlier downstairs. They could be a great person and they could have so much knowledge. Like they say it's somebody who learned from you. They could take all your courses. Yeah. They could have all the knowledge that you have, read the books. But if they're not practicing wholesaling or they're not actively doing it, they think they can just pass off the information, but they have no experience.
Yeah, there's no weight.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how good their morals are or how good of a person they are or how ethical they're actually like teaching, whatever that, like all of that. It doesn't matter because they have no experience, actual experience.
Yeah.
Where if in the other direction, there could be people who are terrible people who have all of the experience in the world, but you still can't trust them. So the time.
Yeah, you have to be able to spend time.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to sit in it. Like people don't want to sit in problems. They want to avoid things, right? So if you want to figure out like, okay, if I'm going to have a money investment something, let's say someone's asking you for money or provide. What was the way it was worded earlier? They provided me with an opportunity for me to give them money. If you were provided with an opportunity to give them money, right, for a quote unquote return, how much time are they willing to spend with you going over that? Like, is it quick? Is it always about the numbers?
Are they just talking to you instead of talking with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will they answer your questions without seeming agitated?
Yeah.
They're answering questions.
Do they actually care?
Yeah.
Right? Like you are able to discern these things if you spend some time in it and you're not in a rush in it. Well, that's one of the biggest things with like red flags.
That's the biggest thing with the 401k is do they actually care? Because when we talked about it in the episode, you pointed out that the person who's controlling your money in the 401k, it's not their money. They don't care. No. They don't care what happens with it.
No. And they don't get paid based on return. They get paid on assets under management.
Yes.
Not average rate of return.
Right. So that's another thing is like, do they actually care enough to sit and sympathize with you and understand why you have concerns, why you're asking questions, like that level of patience, because they do care that you care. And also that it's your money that you worked for. Yeah.
So if you think about the traditional side, your traditional retirement accounts, like you use the 401 as an example there, whoever's managing it, you're not even a number on a spreadsheet. No. They can't even locate you if they tried. So that one's really, it's tough to be that separated. So when you're trying to protect your money and avoid a scam, the first thing you got to do is you got to avoid, you got to protect your money from yourself. Because a lot of times if you're giving money up, where is that place coming from? Like, where are you coming from that you want to give the money up?
Potentially like a place of insecurity.
Are you? Yeah.
Like you don't know how to use it.
Is it insecurity? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it envy? Like what fuels these giant coaching scams and Ponzi schemes and everything? It's not the greed of, this might be controversial to some people. I don't believe it's the greed of the person who's the quote unquote coach.
No, it's the person who's giving the money.
Yes.
Because they're looking at somebody else's life and they're like, I want that. Like,
it is the envy of getting off the private jet and walking up to a stupid car, which by the way, none of it means anything.
Yeah.
But it's the envy of that opens the door to this poor relationship.
Yeah.
The coach in this scenario is completely unethical, dirtbag. Like you don't want to be around this person. But the only reason they're able to do it is because of the envy of now he's victim shaming. I'm not victim shaming.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not what's happening, but you have to understand that is a factor in how these things happen.
Yes.
It's not that you're victim shaming or you're like, you're not calling them stupid for falling for the
no,
the
these
Ponzi
guys
schemes.
Are very, very good at hiding themselves and looking great all of the time.
But you have to understand that the reason why it happens, it's not all one-sided.
Yes.
There's a level at which, yes, it does.
Takes two. They didn't mug you and take the money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason. If there's two, in this scenario, if there's two coaches standing next to each other, one is telling you it's going to take hard work, it's going to be difficult, but they're going to be there for you. And this one's going, for $5,000, we'll turn this into $100,000. Who are you going with?
The one that tells you that they're going to work with you. Because you're probably going to learn something there.
Because you
yeah.
are experienced in this. The person who is envious is going with I got to have that 100 now.
If you would have asked me maybe like 5 years ago, I probably would have chose the second option.
Yeah, if you got two books sitting next to each other, one's 200 pages, one's 15 pages, and they teach you the same thing, which one you're going to read? You're going to read the 15 page
pages,
one,
yeah.
right? So they're appearing as the shortcut.
Yeah.
That's their whole point. So like that's what's so difficult about that industry specifically, because the super ethical guys who are out there, the guys and girls who are out there who want to help and who have a mission behind it, they have to somehow break through the noise of the marketer who's, I can say anything and I'll be able to extract this dollar amount because of it.
It's really...
But what's beautiful about it is all the ethical person has to do is wait.
That's true.
There's a reason these are all crumbling. The number of FTC suits and SEC lawsuits and filings and fraud and Ponzi schemes falling, it's incredible. It's incredible. And what you will also see is you'll also see those marketers and those people who are super aggressive try to latch onto others' communities because they can't build their own, because they don't have the character. So it can never stand on its own. So they have to tag into other people's. So if you ever see the same coach on 12 different podcasts say 12 different things, or it's all about the viewership, another red flag.
Yeah, rather than saying their own like structures and like things, they're just molding to that podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bigger your mission is, the slower you got to go.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
I just realized I'm drinking Starbucks and you're drinking Dunkin'.
I know we're
on camera.
I know we're at war right now.
We are open to sponsorships from either.
And we're at war.
But
A coffee war.
yeah.
I mean, it's not really a coffee war. I mean, it's Dunkin' is superior.
Stop.
That's I'm pretty sure they got that off of the bathroom floor, right? They just mopped it up and they squeezed it into a cup.
Swamp water.
No.
That's from Shrek's
They squeezed that
Swamp.
into the cup.
No, that's from Shrek's Swamp. It never tastes the same, and it's from Shrek's Swamp. But we're not gonna talk bad about either of them because they're both potential sponsors.
You even know? Are you even old enough to know what Shrek is? Have you ever seen Shrek? When did Shrek come out?
Before you were born? No shot.
When you were born? 2002?
Start talking. Talk about what's on topic, and I'll let you know in a minute. Okay, so unfortunately, Shrek is older than me. It came out in 2001, and I'm from 2002.
And I'm from 2002.
I am. That was the year I was made.
Year of our Lord. The year I was made.
Manufactured.
So these are some of the things that you can start looking at. Okay, how do I protect my money? How do I make sure? And also understanding what you actually want out of it. So you have to be able to eliminate your insecurities. You have to be able to eliminate your envy, right? So you got to understand the difference.
You have to have a purpose.
Yeah, you got to have an understanding for who's a marketer and who's an operator. And you have to choose the operator. You have to. I don't care if somebody has terrible marketing, right? And you have difficulty finding them, but through your own research, you're able to find them. And then it's weird. Like you can ask, hey, can I speak to a few other your students? And they go, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any history? Like, what did this thing look like? Have you ever dealt with a situation where you kind of live paycheck to paycheck? Is that something you've been able to help with in the past? Yes or no?
And they share their experiences.
And
they're a person. They're actually a person.
Yes.
It's not just about the money.
And there's a very good chance that mentorship that you're looking at is not either A, not their only job, or B, not their main income.
Okay.
It's a teaching off of their actual operating practice business that is operating still to this day.
Right, which goes back to them practicing what they're preaching.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of a couple, again, without mentioning names, I'm thinking of a couple people right now that are absolutely legitimate
Yeah.
that I love watching their stuff. And it's funny because you'll see them get a little better at marketing here and there and everything, but 70% of their time is spent on their actual business.
Yeah.
So like you'll see kind of the marketing stagnate out, and then you'll see it kind of pop back. Like there's a few off the top of my head that I'm like, they're absolutely real. And I would join any one of their programs or mentorships to get around the people in that room. And then there's other ones who you can't get
They're
away from.
constantly screaming in your face, ad on social media after ad on social media, commenting on your stuff. People telling you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get away from them. And I'm like, I know that guy's got every red flag in the world. I know how expensive the supercars are. I know how much the house can cost. I know how stressful that can be on a portfolio. I know how stressful that can be in a scenario in which you want to make a life change. I've been through all that. So like when they say the exact opposite thing and how easy it is, I'm like, wrong. Red flag, experience, no envy. Like,
Yeah, it was
no
so
chance.
easy to get this Lambo.
Yeah, like
This was so easy. This could be you in a year.
yeah. Okay, let's transition a little bit to lending risks. So one of the things that you mentioned was, hey, I have this opportunity to put my money into this thing and it'll get XYZ return. What are some of the things that you think you should look out for in lending? First of all, let's talk about two different things. Talk about private lending, all right, and hard money.
Well, can you tell me what private lending and hard money are?
That's what I'm going to define first.
Okay.
So hard money is money that is publicly available, and private money is raised through relationship.
Okay, so wait, what's the first one?
Hard money.
Hard money is like
Publicly available
credit
money.
card?
No, not
Loan
not
from the bank?
No,
Hard money is
no. So a hard money lender, right? They're going to be somebody who they aren't basing the loan necessarily off of you, right? They have a bulk of capital that is available to go out as long as it meets a certain criteria of, hey, you're going to pay me 15% plus document fees plus origination fees plus, right? But it can go to anybody.
Oh, so they don't care what you're doing with
Yeah,
it.
and they publicly advertise it.
As
No,
long
they
as
care
they
what
get
you do. They care what you're doing with it. Like they're going to underwrite the deal. They're going to make sure that it's on an asset and that it's protected. But my point is, it's publicly available to anybody. Anybody can apply for it.
Okay, and then private is like a relationship that you built and you know the person.
Private money is like you coming to me going,
Todd, I need $5,000 right now.
I want to buy this thing. I can give you whatever percent, and then we have a conversation about it. Yeah,
Okay.
Like my money's not available for other
You're not
people.
advertising.
Correct.
Okay.
It's my money's not publicly available, but if you came to me with an opportunity, we could partner on that. That's
Okay.
private money. So what are some of the things that you think you should watch out for if, let's say, you're on an email list, as an example, and you get an email that says, we have an opportunity, or a social media post or anything like that?
I don't think I've ever been in a situation.
No?
You're the only person that's ever brought me opportunities. So unless I need to be really weary of you, wait.
There we go. Well, actually,
Okay.
let's back up for a second.
Okay.
I have provided you opportunities before. How did I approach you?
You're like, hey, I have this opportunity.
Like through a text, a call,
Yeah.
like in person, right?
Yeah. It was in person. You come up to me and you're like, here's what I have.
What did I not do? I didn't email you.
You didn't send me an email list.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I didn't
Yeah.
post on social media and tag you.
So like the approach.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. The approach is the first piece. You can go back to all my social media and you're not going to find, hey, I can offer this opportunity to you for 15%.
Well, you know what's crazy is that I have access to your social media. So tomorrow,
You can search.
the day after this video goes out, I'm going to post hey, I have an opportunity post.
Yeah, you're just going to troll me.
Yeah.
And there will be one now. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're getting things that you're questioning, if you're on email lists and things like that, and people are offering you opportunities, or you're hearing in a podcast, or you're hearing in social media posts, or hey, if you want to work alongside us, if you want to have your money grow and get this kind of return, turn $2 into hundreds of thousands of dollars, apply here. Red flag.
Okay.
I don't know anybody with a successful, legitimate, whether it be fund or not, real estate business, investment business, or company that has to raise funds like that.
I think this also says a lot about our generation, like how we just the easiest possible thing is the route we want to take. So
Yeah.
like you saying turn $2 into $150, like
Yeah, the reason I said that number is
Everybody
because it was
will-
an actual example of one that I saw recently. Like they just keep raising the back end number and lowering the front end barrier of entry number.
and everybody looks at that and thinks that is incredible.
They
Let's
go,
do it.
I got $2.
Somebody looks at a realistic number, like I turned this into this, and it's a little more realistic.
Yeah.
And people are like, Psh, no, you didn't. No, that's too much. That's too much work. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
And everybody just wants to take the easy route. I think that's a lot about our generation.
We had a Reddit question not long ago from a couple episodes ago that said, "Hey, can I turn what do you have, 40 or 50 grand?
Oh, into a few million.
Into
in
a
like
million,
5 years.
into
or whatever.
$1 million in the course of a few years."
Yeah.
And the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
But you have to be highly active. That has to be your full-time job.
And you have to be
Working
educated and have experience. And,
Yes.
And be willing to put the time and energy into it. So is it possible? Yes. But you should absolutely not pick some random person on the internet telling you that they can do it for you.
Correct.
And give them the money and let them do it. Which is
Exactly.
what he was looking for.
Exactly. Like you got to learn the difference between marketing speak and what's actually going on. So you get an email that says, I can pay 15% for 6 months, and then you get your money back on a refi. The questions you need to be asking yourself: what if they can't get a refi? What happens to my money? What kind of protections do I have in the deal? So if I give them my money, is my money being sent to them or is it being sent to a title company? Never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never, never, ever send your money directly to a person. It has to go through a title company. Always. Never send it to a direct person.
I believe I handed you $400 in cash when I was like 16. So are you the exception?
That's awesome. Hand the $400 to the title company.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a big problem. Who's got what lien position are you in, right? Are you a mortgage and note holder? Like these are important details that the title company will be able to help explain to you and the attorneys involved. Here's another question: if you're only dealing with their attorney and their title company, who is at leverage?
Them. Yeah.
You need to get your own attorney. This is a piece of that FOMO. Here's a rule. If you ever have FOMO, fear of missing out, if you ever have FOMO, the second you feel it, stop and don't do the deal. Ever.
Yeah.
You should never have FOMO going into a transaction because that is what people are feeding on.
Give me an example of the FOMO. Like walk me through it, what it would look like if you were doing a deal. And
people who bought at 60,000 at Bitcoin.
okay.
Okay. They buy a stock or some sort of investment when it's parabolic, which means it's going straight up. You're just buying it at a more expensive rate. Like that's not sustainable. Think about the GameStop saga.
Oh yeah.
With that stock.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember the numbers that I got to. Let's just say it was 400 or something.
Oh, so you're saying with the Bitcoin, it was like that other people were doing it. It was going up, and so you were like,
they weren't doing it because they
you knew
believed in
nothing
it.
about it. You just were like, I need to do it because everybody else is doing it. I'm gonna miss out on this opportunity. I have to do it right now.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I see
Yeah,
what
like
you mean.
if other people like, I don't want to be the only one that didn't get in on this and get rich from it.
Yeah.
What would they think of me? Everybody was going to leave me behind.
They would think I'm stupid.
Yeah.
If I didn't do this.
Yeah, if I miss out on this, like
People
this
were saying that if you are investing in Bitcoin right now, you're dumb. You're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is FOMO. The
Okay.
second you feel that, the second you have an awareness of like, I'm investing in something because someone else told me to, stop, put all your money back in your pocket and let it sit and do nothing. Who cares?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So that's why it kind of goes back to that rule of like, the first thing we got to do is we got to protect the money from ourself. And from ourself is our envy, our FOMO, all of our emotions that go into like money controlling us as opposed to us controlling it.
Yeah.
That would be like someone coming up to me, like trying to build FOMO in me of a 401k or crypto or anything like that.
People did
like
that to me.
They're gonna struggle.
That happened to me when I first started my business. People were like you don't have a retirement plan. You don't have a retirement
you
plan?
have a 6-figure business at the age of, was it 6-figure at 19 or 20? 20 is your first.
19.
And so 19, you had a 6-figure business at 19 and people are yelling at you about a retirement
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. They were like, you don't have a retirement plan. What are you going to do? And like, I panicked that they like, cause I never thought about it before. I was like, oh, everybody started their 401k. So that's when I came to you. I was like, am I supposed to have like a 401k or something? And you're like, no. Never.
No, you like they're gonna run all the charts on you. Like if you're in front of somebody licensed, which again, fair, you got your license. That's a good skill to have. I'm not arguing with you on that.
Yeah.
But if you don't get to know the person and what they actually want and need, you can't place them in a box. That's another red flag for mentorship or coaching or anything like that, or lending, right? Well, if you give me this $100,000, like I'm gonna get you 17%. Why wouldn't you ever do that? What if the person only has 90 and they go borrow the other 10 because they don't want to miss out on that? Now you not only have two victims, this person never took the time to recognize that, I can't take your last $100,000, homie. Like if you want to put 20 into this and keep that 80 as reserves for the future, like do that.
Yeah.
If you want to put 20 into this, like maybe we can make that work. Let's talk about it. But you got to be getting to know your people. Like you can't take someone's last $100,000 in an investment like that and something speculative like that and feel good and be able to sleep at night.
It's like people who are like,
I just want to name a list of names and put their photos on the screen right now. That's all I want to do. I'm not going to do it. Character.
But you want to.
But I really want to. Yeah.
It's like when you go on the internet and you see these coaches and they're like, I'm a coach, and they just are like, I can take anybody no matter what the circumstances and I will change your life and you just need to come to me and I'll coach you and then you're like, okay, so you don't want to have any conversation with me about like who I am, what I want. Mm-hmm. You just want me to pay you and then you can start coaching me.
Yeah.
Because you do like some sort of like meeting the person before you take them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you sit and have lots of conversation. You're not just going to take a check from somebody and say, I'm your coach now.
No, one of the best things is to disqualify them.
Yeah.
Like I am actively trying, if I'm on a conversation with somebody and they're like, hey, I would like some mentorship, I want some coaching, and like we're getting on a call together to discover if I'm a good fit for them and they're a good fit for me, right?
Yeah.
I am actively trying to disqualify them on the call.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because if I want to have great results, it has to be the right people.
Right.
It can't be everybody.
You can't coach everybody because not everybody's going to have the same goals, like wants, needs.
Yeah. That's why this podcast is so important to me now.
Yeah.
And the YouTube is so important to me now, is because for anybody that's not ready yet, they can get help. Like I wanted to be, if my mission's to end financial suffering, I have to be at the beginning spectrum and the end. So like, yes, I get excited to talk about super high level stuff with multimillionaires. Like, hey, this is how you can like really explode this thing if you just add this piece into your wealth cycle and you have recyclable capital here. Like 99% of the people that just heard that go, I don't even know what the hell that meant. But the 1% that did is like, I want to talk about that. Like, so yeah, I get excited about that, but I need to be in each spectrum and doing it well to help raise people up.
Yeah. You're not going to take a one-on-one client who comes to you and they're like, I have like, you're like, well, what's your purpose? Like, what's your mission? Like, and they don't know, like, they're just trying to figure that out. You can't help them. Yeah. But there are people out there who will post and they're like, okay, pay this and then you can talk to me and I'll be your coach.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So you know, what's funny here's what's crazy and why it's so important to know the person up front. So, and if you are somebody who is aspiring to learn from someone, or you have some money that you want to invest, or you want to change something and go to the next level, like you're willing to commit to that. What's funny is it's okay if that coach asks you for your last few bucks.
Yeah.
Not in a sense of like lending, not on a speculative deal, on like learning and educating, because any investment placed in yourself is the seed that will grow. That's the soil in which the soil is rich and it will grow. So let's say someone's got $5,000 left and somebody wants to get a coaching thing for $5,000 or whatever. I think you should spend your last $5,000 on it. One, you're kind of broke anyways. And two, it's going to give you the opportunity to grow so much further than you putting that investment into anything else.
Well, like
that's anything else.
If you're taking that money and you put it into, like, you just give it to somebody and you're like, okay, double this for me.
Yeah,
you're not learning anything. Correct. Sure, the money might get doubled and come back to you, but you didn't learn how to do it
once or twice before they rug pull it and run off with the 30.
Yes, exactly. And then how long until you actually don't get it? But like you're not learning anything in that process. You just gave your money up and got it back, and it was free if you get it back. But if you go and you get a coach and you invest that money, and sure, you're not getting that money back. Like you spend the $5,000 on the mentorship, you're spending the money and you're not getting it back.
That's going into
you're not getting it back.
Yeah.
You're paying to learn so that you can do what they're doing.
Which people do this every single day without recognizing it because they go to college.
Yes.
Their whole goal is to put money into this thing that will make them more money.
Oh, yeah.
They don't think college is a scam, but they think the one-on-one mentor is, because the mentor is asking for their last $5,000. The college is asking them to go get a loan.
And the only difference is the college is like an institution.
And the mentor is more specialized.
Yeah.
You want the more specialized person. Your goal is, if you are looking to put money into yourself and get better and protect your money and avoid a scam, is you want to be able to look at that person, spend time with that person, and basically shortcut 10 years of a learning curve. Like, has that person been doing it for a decade? If they haven't been doing it for a decade, pick somebody else. It's
also
fine.
asking, what are they getting from this?
Yeah.
Why are they doing it? What are they getting from me giving them my money?
Yeah. That's why I'm actively disqualifying people while on a mentorship call.
Because it shows that you're not just doing it for the money. You're not just doing it to take their money.
Yeah, it's all about the mission of moving it forward.
It's so that they see progress and success.
The mission of ending financial suffering forward.
Yes,
Correct.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because your goal is to help them and their financial suffering see progress.
Yeah. And I know of so many good coaches and mentors out there. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
It's just, but again, to my point earlier, you don't see them as much as the loud ones but again, all those guys have to do is wait, because the loud ones end up exposing themselves by switching industries 11 times. It's just the new hottest thing.
Yeah.
So it's just the new easiest thing for them to sell. They haven't been able to sit in something long enough to become not only good at selling it, but good at operating it.
Or it's not even that they like explode, like they like run themselves into the ground. It's also the people who they go to them, they either see no progress, they get scammed, whatever, and then they fall through the cracks into your hands.
Yeah. That does have...
Yeah, because usually...
that is definitely... It is amazing how many people will go somewhere else and then come to like a legitimate coach, whether it be me or somebody else that I interact with and I know them, and like you hear about it. It's amazing how often they will fall through that strainer.
Yeah.
And go, okay, now I get it.
Most of the people who like come to your events, you hear their stories. How did you end up here? And most of them have been like, well, I did this before this. I did this before that, this.
It is incredible who's like the third, fourth, fifth one. Yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah,
and they probably, by the time they got to you, were a lot more like cautious and asking the right questions.
I had a conversation last week with someone, and then he told me his story, and it was a good story, and very confident in being able to help through the situation. Dealt with it a bunch of times. And we had a few phone calls together, and then he ended up letting me know that he had made some other investments in other people a few times. I'm like, I don't blame you for being really gun shy right now. And whoever else is in your household, really gun shy right now, because you're in a cycle. You're in a pattern right now where like you're hoping someone else is going to solve this problem, and then you put the money into them, and then you got a bigger problem. I said, that's a cycle. And now you kind of feel like you're doing that again. Though this is different, like you need to recognize that you have to act differently and think differently before you're going to solve this problem.
You hear so often, like you said, like the husband comes to you, that's a guy, and he's like, I want to learn this. I want to grow this skill. I want to make money. Mm-hmm. But the wife is over there like, he's done this 15 times now, lost us X amount of dollars, and like so skeptical that it takes you meeting the wife and having a conversation, and like you basically have to convince the partner.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been so many times I've seen you do this.
Yeah. Well, the other piece to that too is letting them know, like, I'm on your side. Like
this idiot.
He needs to prove to you that he'll actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the money. It's not the teachings. It's nothing. It's like that person has to prove to you that they're actually going to stick with it and do it and take action behind it.
Yeah.
It's not just, if you put money into this thing, you have this magical result. That's just not a thing. So protecting money from yourself. Like, if you want to avoid scams, if you want to avoid these bad situations where you lose out on life savings and or a good chunk of like things that you've earned, you have to protect money from your own emotions first. So it actually starts with yourself. Again, not victim shaming, but the only reason these guys are available is because of people's envy.
Yeah.
That's it. What I haven't seen is someone with no envy, with good self-confidence and no FOMO get caught up in something like that.
Because they just keep walking.
I shouldn't say never. Very, very, very rarely. It would be so rare that they wouldn't be able to be in business.
Yeah.
because I'm thinking of one scenario specifically right now where we actually did help someone out of a scenario, but it's a little unique because that person was actually just flat out lied to.
Yeah.
And then there was forged document. There was crazy steps to the scam actually, but he was able to get out of it, which was fantastic. And this is a very seasoned person who knows what they're doing, but at the same time actually cut a couple corners because he was so experienced that he was like, it should be fine. So that's how that stuff happens. You got to be careful. I mean, it's rough out there right now. Like, look at who you're speaking with. Are they spending time with you? Why do you want the extra money?
Are they sharing more about their life with you too, outside of just like the business side of things? Like, do you have a real relationship with them?
You're talking about the potential client?
Yeah.
Or like
the potential mentor, things like that.
Yeah, the potential mentor. This might sound weird. A true leader doesn't have a private life.
Okay.
Like private life to an extent of like, inside your home, but like, I don't really have a private life. People know, like I'm very like a true leader. I'm just using myself as an example. A true leader is going to be super transparent. It's one of the things that drives Dee nuts because you tell everybody everything. I have nothing.
You're like, people on the internet
hide.
know how much your house is. They know how much your car was. They know how you financed your car, your first car, second car, third car.
Yeah.
They know how you financed your house, how you structured the deal. They know about your wife. They know about your kids. They know about your hobbies, what you enjoy, what you what you believe.
Yeah, they're true leaders don't have the convenience of a private life.
Yeah.
They can't. The whole point of their leadership is to share.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not sharing, maybe within reason, there's obviously lines. But if you're going to be transparent and open, like that's a door and a choice that you can walk through. So like the people within our company, they can come for anything, right? They can come to me for anything. This isn't a dictatorship, right? So if you're going to be a leader, if you're looking towards a leader, or if you're looking to latch onto someone's train, or if you're looking to, learn from somebody, see how open and honest they are. When's the last time they talked about a mistake that they made? I feel like that's every podcast episode. When's the last time they had to go through something tough? When's the last time they shared that either publicly or with someone who actually asked? If they're not willing to do that, if you just get in this highlight reel, I would watch out for that.
Yeah.
That's always how I can tell who the real ones are. They say these 3 words, typically in this order, I don't know. Because they don't know everything, and they're okay not knowing everything. And then they also share losses, struggles, alongside wins, testimonials, and referrals, and things like that. That's fine. But the one thing that they really, really do well is they go, hey, I can speak on that because I went through this. Like, here, sit down. Like, here's why you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, squatters with 6 people in a 1-bedroom house, 2 pit bulls, and a chicken. Don't forget the chicken. Was it 2 chickens or 1 chicken? I think there was 1 chicken.
I think it was 1.
I think it was 1 chicken. It was 2 pit bulls and 1 chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, because it was, and didn't feel like mistakes we made in the beginning, but
I mean, they were just
look
within
at our
the
stuff now.
cracks. Yeah.
It's vacant. It's got security systems on it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
We have checks and balances in place. But yeah, if you just get nothing but highlight reel and how much of a return you're going to get, or if they start with your average return and not wanting to get to know you, that's another huge red flag. Like if they're publicly advertising a return, already that's an SEC violation. Like if you get on the phone with somebody and they want to be your mentor, or you want them to be your mentor, and you're seeing if it's a good fit or a right fit, and they start with a return over...
They just start talking numbers instead of getting to know you and real conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like that conversation to start with like, hey, how can I help you? What do you actually need? Like,
Todd, it's not about the money. It's about the people. I was going to say, what's that saying that you always say with it's not about the houses, the boxes with the roofs on it. It's
not about the
people.
boxes with the tops on them. It's about the people inside.
It applies here too.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, the numbers. It's about the people you're working with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Butchered that, but I got it.
Yeah, and well, that's why these guys end up running Ponzi schemes on themselves, because they'll just accept money from anywhere. And then when their experience is horrible and they hate their lives, even though they got all the physical things because they thought that would solve it, they have to then support that thing. And then they have to take on more people that they don't actually resonate with. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and it compounds. Meanwhile, the person who's willing to openly disqualify someone like, hey, I actually don't think I'm the best fit for you, but I really think this guy or this girl could be. Like, I think you should check them out. I don't think you're quite ready for this. We have something for that if you want to be involved, but you're not quite ready for this level of commitment yet. But I think you can get there. Like, that's such a different conversation. Yeah. But they got to get to know the person first.
But it really, really shows if a mentor is doing that. Yeah. They don't just want your money.
No.
That the success is the important part.
Success,
so,
yes.
Yes. So you being able to turn people away means you're not getting the like X many dollars it costs for them to work with you.
Yeah.
But you do want them to succeed, and for them to succeed, they have to do XYZ first before they can come to you.
Because that's the only thing that's actually sustainable and scalable in any sort of mentorship or coaching business.
Because you care about the people, not the money.
Yeah, because the people are the ones, their success is actually what lifts you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's your character is what gives your words weight.
Yeah.
Right? So the only thing that you can do to build that is continue building your character and working with the people that way they have the success that you are so, should be proud to work for. Exactly. So don't get your money stolen.
Probably not.
This is how you don't get your money stolen.
Ask a lot of questions.
Ask a lot of questions. Make sure they're willing to spend time with you. And make sure that whether you leave and come back, right, that their enthusiasm is the same for you.
That's important. And like you said, make sure that you're not acting out of insecurity.
Yep. So let's sum it up really quick.
Okay.
Protect money from your own emotions. No FOMO, no envy, no fear there. If you're going traditional, make sure you know who you're working with, their credibility, their track record, and your level of interactability with them. That's a word. So making sure that you are, actually taken care of.
Protect yourself from them.
Yeah. And then on the alternative side, if you're looking for coaching, help, outside investment, and things like that, make sure that they want the best for you, as that's actually what you want. So make sure that the conversations are starting with character and progress over just numbers and returns. If you guys have questions or examples, please put them in the comments below. We would love to read them and hear from you guys. You guys can follow us on all the fun socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikToks, all the exciting ones.
If you're like, I want to learn about money, Todd's got stuff.
Yeah, you can go to the website. It'll be in the link in the description down below. You can sign up for our free newsletter. You get free information. Got books down there.
Two books. Some courses.
And an upcoming release of a possible paperback that you should be excited about. But we will release that later. We'll reveal that later. Thanks for listening. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.